Western States is fast approaching, and as always, the field is absolutely nuts, and it's sure to be one of the most exciting races of the season. If you've not followed Western States before or have no idea what the race is all about, check out my History of Western States video from last year. In this one though, I'm going to be going over my top 3 men to watch, so if you're unsure who you should be keeping an eye on this year, hopefully this helps. And unlike my previous previews, I'm only going to talk about 3 guys here today. There's just too many contenders to go over everyone, and we'd be here all day. I also usually just say that these are 3 runners I'm interested in following, but this time I'm ready to be proven wrong, and I'm going to say that the winner comes from one of these 3 guys. I'll then be dropping a video next week covering some more of the contenders as well as my top 10 predictions, but for now let me know your picks in the comments below and let me know how you think it'll play out. Oh, and finally, if you're planning on playing Fantasy Free Trail, we've got a channel mini league, so join that via the link in the description, and while you're there, remember to subscribe. Anyway, let's jump into it. Jim Walmsley is returning to Western States this year and is undoubtedly the favourite. The 3-time champion and course record holder had turned his attention to UTMB over the last couple of years, moving to France and going all in on the European mountain running way of life. A move which paid off, as back in September he became the first American man to win UTMB. If you haven't already, make sure you check out this fantastic feature-length doc from Wahoo about that process. Then, following that historic victory, he jumped into UTMB Nice a few weeks later, won the race and claimed a golden ticket back into Western States. Now, Jim's always been a bit of an enigma when it comes to his training, including before that UTMB win where no one was quite sure if he'd fully recovered from an ankle injury that kept him out of the 2023 World Trail Running Championships, before we later found out from a scene in that Wahoo film that he'd been training like an absolute beast for the entire summer. This year, once again, Jim's gone Strava dark in the build up to this one and has only raced once all year over the 10-mile distance, and he also pulled out of Trans-Gran Canaria back in February due to minor injuries. So yeah, for all we know, he could be coming into this one undertrained or managing an injury, but equally, following his move back to Flagstaff, he could have been quietly smashing out monster training weeks in the Grand Canyon, following his 2019 blueprint, and be coming into this one in the form of his life. After all, Jim knows better than anyone exactly what you need to do to succeed at Western States. On the flip side though, that could also be his downfall, as I think Jim's biggest threat this year is Jim. He'll be well aware of his 2019 splits, and if we see him matching or bettering them early on, then we could be about to witness fireworks, either in the form of a new course record or a spectacular blow-up. And I think the latter is the only way Jim loses this one. Either way, he's going to make it entertaining. Hayden Hawks took on one of the most competitive fields ever assembled in ultra running at Black Canyon back in February, and he absolutely crushed it. Cruising away from the field, looking strong throughout the day and winning by nearly 10 minutes and breaking the course record. And that was his first race back from a lengthy break following knee surgery. So with another 4 months of training under his belt, many are now expecting a huge performance from Hayden this year. He's had a pretty rough time of it in his 3 previous attempts at Western States though. Last year he took a fall which flared up the aforementioned knee injury and led to a DNF at Michigan Bluff. In his first attempt back in 2021, he went out with the early hot pace of Jim Walmsley, a brave move which ultimately broke him and saw him dropping back through the field in the latter stages, finishing 11th, and his best result, 2nd place in 2022, must feel bittersweet as the field was wide open with no standout favourite or returning champion, and he was leading the race for so long until around mile 70, where he was passed by Adam Peterman in his debut 100 miler. Was that Hayden's best chance for victory here? I hope not. It sounds like Hayden has taken all the right steps to return from injury better than ever. He's spoken at length about the improvements he's made with his fueling, and that Black Canyon victory was a real statement of intent. I think he's ready to go head to head with Walmsley once again, and I think he'll do better and run smarter than he did back in their 2021 duel. Does he have what it takes to beat him though? I have no idea, and I cannot wait to find out the answer. Okay, it might be British bias, but I think Jonathan Albon is going to absolutely crush his 100-mile trail debut. Those who follow the sub-ultra scene, obstacle course racing, or fans from the UK are probably already well aware of how insanely tough and talented John is, but I really feel like this will be his international blow-up race, where he reaches household name status, at least within ultra running households, much like Tom Evans' experience following his 2019 third place and his win last year. The long-time training partner of Kilian Jornet found his way into the sport through obstacle course racing, Tough Mudders, Spartan races, that sort of thing, where he became multiple-time world champion. The agility required to excel in those races allowed him to transition nicely into skyrunning, where he also started winning world championships and developed into one of the best technical runners on steep, wet, rocky and treacherous terrain on the planet, as well as one of the world's best descenders. From here he transitioned to short trail races, excelling on the Golden Trail World Series and becoming the short trail world champion in 2019, before taking on some of the biggest races in ultra running. He won and set the course record at OCC, and then in 2023 he won CCC, in a time 10 minutes quicker than Hayden Hawks' winning time and 30 minutes quicker than Tom Evans' winning time, claiming a golden ticket into Western States in the process. Then, just last month, he took on a stacked field, including the likes of Dakota Jones and Tom Evans at Transvolcania, and walked away with the win. John's clearly in terrific form, but I guess the only real question mark is how he'll perform on a less technical, more runnable course, and how he'll manage the 100-mile distance, as well as the heat that might present itself at Western States. I'm pretty confident though that he'll smash it. He's incredibly tough, adaptable and resilient, skills that are essential in obstacle course racing, and therefore I think he'll surprise many here. So, as I said in the intro, I'm just talking about my 3 picks for the win today, but I will quickly mention that I think Dan Jones is a dark horse that could win this thing after his impressive debut last year. I just think there'll be loads of comments about him. As far as these 3 go though, I'll be picking Jim for the win. I'm going to bet that Hayden goes out hard with Jim and pays for that later on once again, but will hang on for a top 5. And John has a breakout 100-mile performance with a solid second place. Full predictions video to come next week, but as always, let me know your picks in the comments. As I said, I'm purposely not going over everyone here as there's just too many incredible athletes to talk about. Any one of maybe 20 guys could take the win if they have their perfect day, so please don't be offended if I haven't mentioned your favourite runner. My Women to Watch video will be up in a few days, and do check out that History of Western States video if you have no idea what I'm talking about or why this race is so special. Drop me a like and remember to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back soon with more ultra running content. Cheers.